Hello everybody, it's me O'Neil Gerald. We're still going to be talking about some of my music, specifically my song Counterfeits and Magic.
Counterfeits and magic don't bring sunshine in the dark.
Today we're going to get to what probably most of you on this channel, at least with the following that's here right now, would be interested in, and that is the vocals. The vocals, specifically the background vocals. I actually, when I first recorded this song, didn't want there to be any background vocals because I was used to doing that and I wanted to make sure that I could actually perform this live. However, as I was going along, I thought it would be really fun to add some background vocals to this song. So I did. So let's head to the second verse, because the second verse is really where we're going to start to hear a lot of this activity.
Giants, lions and tigers standing in my way.
So one thing that I love to do, and it's something that I've really taken note of thanks to the gospel group Resound. They do some wicked acapella stuff, and it's actually a Kirk Franklin thing as well, coming from being in octaves or singing in unison, or even singing the same melody line and then breaking into harmony from that unison line. So for the first part, we have me singing In My Way to respond to Giants, Lions, and Tigers standing in my way.
In my way.
And so there's a few things that you have to think of with your background vocals. First of all, what has the melody of the line that you are creating? So for me, the first part that came to my mind was in my way. So I wanted that part to stand out the most. So we've got that here in, I believe, the alto. Well, it's not really an alto. I just mark it that way because that's how it would be. Because the alto part in gospel music is really considered the middle. So alto for me is just another word for middle in this regard. My falsetto is going to cover that high part because I can't get up there in my full voice. So it's giving me a light flourish on the top. But the thing about the falsetto is that it's disconnected from the rest of your range. And so with me having a falsetto that's disconnected from the rest of my range, it's going to be like half the volume. So what I had to do was actually boost the volume of my falsetto here, because you can actually see that the waveform here is actually a lot smaller than the waveforms where I'm singing in my full modal voice, where my voice is fully connected, my chords are fully connecting. And so we have some octaves that are there, and then when we resolve to the rest of the harmony, we have
in my way. Giants, lions and tigers standing in my way.
Really cool, eh? Now this is even more of my favorite part. I actually broke the music and I came to 4 parts.
Either question, do you know your name?
The bass part is probably my favorite part. Do you know your name? If as you can hear, it's hard for me to sing that. I actually had to wait until it was the morning so that I could wake up and actually record it, because that E flat was an E flat 2. That E flat 2 isn't really accessible for me in a full way. Like, ooh, ooh. I can sort of kind of do it then, but not really as much as I could in the morning.
Do you know your name?
And then we got the tenor.
Do you know your name?
And then going up a little higher.
Do you know your name?
And then we got me flipping from modal action to falsetto action.
Do you know your name?
And I actually missed something with this harmony, because I don't just have the do you know your name, but we have the aha, aha. And not only is it in octaves, but I actually give it a little bit of a sigh out, especially on the lower voice. Aha.
Do you know your name? Aha.
I think that's something that's characteristic of my style in terms of background vocals. I like to use breath as something that's percussive and kind of gives like an ethereal effect. Aha! And I kind of breathe out on beat. Put it together, and what do you got?
Do you know your name?
Wonderful. Now, another thing with background vocals, you want to make sure that your background vocals are interesting. When you're going in and out of harmony, it makes it interesting. Also, when you're adding parts, whether it be on the low or on the high side, it can also be very, very, very engaging. And then we got even more falsetto action for me.
More inside my heart.
I bring back my voice when I'm singing in my my modal voice, especially when I'm up on that beat. More inside my heart.
More inside my heart.
Usually I would sing roar inside my heart, but I want it to be much more pulled back because of the way I wanted it. I wanted the dynamic level to sort of kind of come down in intensity. So we got some falsetto assistance.
War inside my heart.
And then the bottom.
War inside my heart.
And then you put it together.
War inside my heart.
Now this next part is actually very hidden because I didn't want it to be featured as much as the lead voice. However, you're hearing an exclusive here. I actually sang a very strong, I would say this is the most gospel-y that I get on the entire track. The harmony is 3-part and is fully parallel. And then I go into a very intimate ooh.
Counterfeits and magic don't bring sunshine in the dark. Ooh.
So what I did here specifically to really help this harmony to stand out is I accentuated my consonants. Counterfeits and magic don't bring sunshine in the dark. Especially on the C, because I lifted the kick so that we could have a little bit of a lift in the groove. So we have the kick that's going. And so because the C was very, very sharp, it acted like a drumstick, and it hit the syncopation of the groove. And so it kind of gave you like an ooh, 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 oh my gosh. Now, this is a great example of perfection isn't everything. This actually wasn't executed perfectly on my part. You can actually see in the waveforms where there are actually some flaws, and I like the fact that there are flaws. They actually add to the organicness of the recording. But with the oohs, what I did is I had a little bit of dynamic play. Usually with your background vocals, you don't want to add vibrato because your vibrato's mostly uncontrollable, so you can't sync it up with every single track that you have there. However, I decided to use vibrato to add some waves to the line. So ooh, just for a little bit of nuance. See, you can hear a little bit of that tenor that actually just was a little bit too much. But yeah, so I'm actually gonna, cut this off right here, partly because my camera is dying and also because this is actually a lot longer than I thought. But if you guys really like me talking through the background vocals for Counterfeits and Magic, please let me know in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up. Go listen to the song, buy the song on iTunes. It's available on all online platforms, and subscribe to this channel because this is the place where we think deeply so that we create art that changes the world. I'm Gerald, and I'll see you later. Bye everyone.